Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Phil Busley, the Mile High Mouth, and for today's episode of Suki Nihon, we are looking at episode 10 of season 4 of Steven Universe, Steven's Dream. Steve starts having dreams of beautiful places, which causes him to develop a stigmata-like crying. Pretty much it starts out, his dad wakes him up because of this. He's like, hey, you were falling asleep. They're watching this little movie about alien abduction. And Steven falls asleep and his dad's like, oh, I didn't wake you up because you look so cute and then you were crying and that was less cute. So anyways, he takes him back to the house in the statue, and Steven suddenly realizes, hey, we haven't discussed the plot. So it's time for him to address some questions from all the way back from Bubbled, last season. Anyways, he asks his dad if Rose Quartz, his mom, ever mentioned the war or shattering Pink Diamond. Because, he's still a little bit... We have so many episodes where he's just like, hey, remember all that character development where I got over something? Nope! And he asks Greg about that, and Greg is like, well, Greg, being the most complex and best character in the show, mentions that he never pressed her on those issues, which is actually fairly pragmatic. Sometimes, if people don't want to talk about something, you don't need to press them about it. Be like, hey, what did you do during the war? Yeah, that's inappropriate. If someone really wants to talk about that, they will talk about it. That's the thing with traumatic situations. If someone wants to talk about that, you can't really press them to talk about it. It's really rude. And Greg tends to be the more polite of these characters, whereas everyone else, including Steven, is some kind of emotionally stunted toddler. It happens quite a bit. Anyways, Steven has another dream, and he sees Pink Diamond's broken palanquin. That's the little chariot type thing with the spider legs. That actually looks like I've seen that before in other stuff. Remember the chariot in like Beauty and the Beast by Disney? The one that takes Belle's father back? It looks a little like that. In fact, that's actually kind of what it reminds me of. After he has his dream about the palanquin, Connie, the audience insert character, shows up with a book. And it's all like, hey, remember that book we got in Buddy's book? The one that I got the name wrong. Yeah. Anyways, she shows up with that book and he's like, oh, this is it. So, Steven's all like, hey, the crystal gems come back from goodness knows where, and he's all like, hey, look at this. Can you tell me about this? Amethyst doesn't know what it is. Pearl's all like, oh no, ah! Because, overdramatic, emotionally stilted. And then Garnet's like, oh, I can't tell you about that. So, Steven, backsliding a little bit in character development, gets mad at them and is just like, no, you guys don't ever tell me anything, except for when they do. And I am just going to go find this by myself. Then Garnet's like, don't go by yourself, because I can't go with you. No. I love how that's so awkwardly written. We'll get to that in a bit. But anyways, after they decide, nope, we're not going to do this, he goes and talks to his dad, and his dad's like, hey, you want to check this out? You want to go to Korea and check this out? Well, you remember his brother, or rather Steve's uncle, who can fly the plane and all that? We see him again. He's got a couple lines, and he drives them to Korea, which leads to this fantastic little montage where they're in Korea doing Korean things, including taking a look at the animation studio where the show was animated. I love how they're shown in like K-pop style uniforms, and then those red shirts that they have at the end, which is a nod to the South Korean Red Devils football. It's or a soccer in the USA team. The actual shirts would say, be the Reds, which instead they just have red and then an exclamation point. Kind of like Jeb with an exclamation point. But yeah, be the Reds. World Cup soccer stuff, or football. I don't really follow that. I like playing football or soccer. Not so much watching it. But that's I have a lot of relatives who do and bet on that, seriously. But yeah, the actual shirts would say, "Be the Reds," and I thought that was a really nice nod to that aspect of Korean culture, which is pretty cool. Anywho, they make it out to the area where the palanquin would be, and they discover a blue palanquin. Steven's a little bit confused by this, and then they realize that, oh, the area where it's actually at, they run into Blue Diamond, who's there with a blue pearl. The blue pearl notices the noise they make, and actually let's just say that Blue Diamond is there to pay respects to Pink Diamond and lament how the Earth will be destroyed by the cluster, which they took care of last season. Remember, it got bubbled? Anyways, the blue pearl overhears Steven and Greg talking, because Steven realizes that he's been crying her tears because his whole powers essentially are the power of like an empathy, where he can feel how other people feel, even if he is still a little stilted in his ability to process and understand it. After they make that noise, to prevent Steven from being discovered, Greg pops up, and the blue pearl introduces Greg to Blue Diamond. And they talk a little bit about loss. Greg talks to Blue Diamond a bit like, well, you know, how tough it is when you do lose someone that you care about. Because Greg has gone through this before and understands it a bit. Doesn't pretend to understand everything she's going through. He just describes what he went through. And Blue Diamond kind of aligns that with her feelings. I also love the fact that Blue Diamond is essentially an homage or a straight rip of a combination of Mattel from Galaxy Express 999, or at least Shadow from Galaxy Express 999, which is the faceless android that keeps track of the... She watches over the graves of Pluto in Galaxy Express 999, which, it's really Leiji Matsumoto-esque. I was like, I really like the design of this character. Part of it makes me feel like, okay, this reminds me of Leiji Matsumoto stuff. And then parts of it make me think of Belladonna of Sadness, just the way the eyes are drawn and stuff, even though she's more exaggerated. Now, I would not actually recommend you seek out and watch Belladonna of Sadness, or if you ever want to appreciate the writing on any anime or anime thing ever, don't watch Galaxy Express 999 because it will spoil you for everything else. Everything else that you watch will be a step down from Captain Harlock or Maytale Legend or Galaxy Express 999. Everything. Literally, maybe you want to put that one off for a side. Kind of like how people love Sailor Moon until they watch Revolutionary Girl Utena and realize, oh wow, a lot of the stuff that Sailor Moon hits, this one hits better. That's kind of like going and watching, it's a superior product, and maybe wait a little bit if you haven't seen it, and enjoy what you have now at this level before raising it up a little bit. I'm just saying that yes, you should watch Galaxy Express 999, but wait a little bit so you can appreciate stuff that isn't as amazing. Otherwise, it'll ruin your palate for other stuff. But yeah, I love that it's a reference to that, but I kind of feel that that limits a little bit of the storytelling ability in Steven Universe, because you have these characters who are archetypes or copies of other archetypes, and if you know what they're referencing or the other archetypes, it's like you're looking at someone who's painting in imitation of an amazing piece of artwork. It'd be like a person saying, well, you've seen the Sistine Chapel, please look at this little imitation of what I did on the roof of my car. Yeah, it doesn't match up with it, and in a way that kind of hurts the series, but I did appreciate it. I appreciate that these people who work on the design and character design, like Rebecca Sugar and her group, I do like that they know their references. They know what's good, and they're trying to take bits and pieces of it and put it into their show and kind of make it their own. Like the fusion taken from Dragon Ball Z, and some of the tropes taken from Revolutionary Girl Utena, and of course Sailor Moon, Princess Knight, Rose of Versailles. There's a bunch. I love that they had like a little Initial D homage, although Initial D has much better drama and character development. pretty much what I'm saying is I like Blue Diamond a lot. This is one of my favorite, their quote, villainous, end quote, characters so far. And after talking with Greg, she decides to, well, kidnap him and take him to wherever. And Steve's all like, no! So he jumps at the ship, which twirls away in a light distortion style flip. It just goes whoop, out like that. And, oh, I do want to comment that I love the ship design in this show. Even if it does kind of borrow a bit from Super Smash Brothers. You know, the Master Hand. Except these are arms. Or from the blue mini hand from, Yellow Submarine. Remember the Hand of Oppression, or rather the Fist of Oppression in Yellow Submarine? That's kind of what they're going for with those little hand ships. And that's okay. It works out. Anyway, she does that. Steven tries to catch it. Steven falls to Earth. Garnet catches him and is like, I couldn't tell you this because then she would have discovered all of us. Well, yeah. You can be honest with him. That's kind of the thing here. These characters continually self-sabotage themselves that way. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. And it builds up to much more interesting payoffs. And I really like the design for Blue Diamond. Overall, I do also want to note something about the music. Through like almost the entire episode, when they have the awkward exposition between Steven and the other crystal gems, there's no music. There is some music in the montage sequence with in Korea, and there is music when Blue Diamond is introduced, and that works out well. The animation is pretty on point, like that, and I thought it was a pretty decent episode, except for a couple of those little backslides that Steven tends to do. But that's because he's written like an 8-year-old in a 14-year-old's body or so. And that makes him kind of like a superpowered version of Clarence, or maybe one of the characters from Ed, Edd and Eddy in a way. That kind of mentality. Not a Johnny Test type character, but still. I feel that he's there because the audience for this is technically supposed to be much younger than the audience that actually watches it. Which works well on some shows, like say Gravity Falls, where they realize, hey, you know what? We are being watched by people who are much older than our target audience. Let's start catering more to them too. You can do both. Pixar shows us that you can do both. But yeah, what do you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hit that share button. And hit that little bell. Ring that bell if you want to get notified whenever we have new videos. And until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.
Hi, I'm Sarah McLachlan. Will you be an angel